11. My eyes stung with panic. Just great. Nothing kills the mood faster when you're off the clock and on a date. And nothing is more awkward than running into your boss, who also happens to be your ex, at the very same restaurant. Nothing. My body went rigid. But when I finally looked up and met Seth's gaze, his eyes, steady for 7 years, held a faint, mocking glint, as if he was expecting something. Oh God. I had no clue what. Maybe 7 years of playing a role breeds instinct. As a consummate professional, even off-duty, you save face for your boss, especially when he's with a date. I straightened my spine, took a subtle breath, and walked towards Seth with poised respect. I offered a slight, polite nod. Mr. Anderson, you must be Ms. Bennett. Seth's smile deepened, as if he could sense the sheer effort behind my professionalism. Baffled, I pressed on. A pleasure, Ms. Bennett. I fixed a formal smile on my face and asked, with practiced courtesy, "Did Mr. Anderson bring you here for dinner?" As I spoke, I glanced at the woman beside him, polished, graceful, perfectly suited to his world, and said with utmost sincerity, "Ms. Bennett, I'm Mr. Anderson's executive assistant. He's spoken of you so often lately." I stole a glance at Seth. He was watching me with keen interest, his expression seeming to soften slightly. Tears of pride welled up inside. I gave myself a mental high five. I truly was the world's most dedicated, considerate executive assistant, going above and beyond even after hours. Ivy Moore, workaholic extraordinaire. Today, her boss's lifelong happiness rested squarely on her shoulders. After this silent self-praise, I looked at Mia Bennett and continued, even more dutifully, "Mr. Anderson mentioned you're gentle, gracious, and lovely. He admires you a great deal. He even had me look into your preferences to choose a gift. But in the end, he wanted it to be more personal, so he selected something himself." As I spoke, I allowed a trace of genuine admiration and a touch of envy to show in my eyes. Simultaneously, I caught a flicker of pink light from the corner of my eye. My eyebrow twitched. Wow. I never pegged him for such a romantic. I'd wondered why they'd moved from a high-end private dining room to this cozy, moderately priced spot. Now it made sense. 12. This restaurant was all about ambience, and Seth was using it to full effect. I turned to see the door of a private room opposite the entrance being pushed open from within, under the soft glow. A handsome man with a youthful face, wearing a crisp white sweater, emerged slowly, pushing a cart overflowing with pink roses. Behind him, a violinist in a suit played with astonishing skill, eyes lowered. The song was Mercury. It was impossibly tender, affectionate, romantic. "Ivy, are you jealous?" Seth's voice, unexpectedly gentle, murmured close to my ear. He had moved behind me at some point, leaning down. I was startled, utterly confused. The next second, the handsome young man stopped the rose cart before me, maintaining a polite distance. His face was flushed, his words hesitant as he looked at me. "Ivy Moore, these are for you. I hope you like them." 13. As Gavin Barrett spoke, his fair, handsome face flushed even deeper. But his eyes never left mine. I looked up instinctively and met the gaze of the young CEO, intense, fervent. My heart did a little flip. His stare was far too direct, too heated. And the moment our eyes met, his held an unmistakable, blazing wonder. It was scorching. 14. Unlike Seth's usual detached calm, the light in the young CEO's eyes was so bright it seemed to pierce straight through me. Those beautiful, almond-shaped eyes were so full of warmth, they seemed to hold me and only me. That look, it almost felt like genuine admiration. For 7 years by Seth's side, I'd kept my head down, striving from the ground up. Over time, I improved my looks, my career, feeling more and more worthy of standing beside Seth. Suitors appeared. But no one had ever looked at me with such brilliant, such fervent intensity. My heart skipped another beat. I reached out slightly, instinctively moving to accept my gift. The cartload of pink roses. I felt a subtle tug.
Huh?
Frowning, I turned to see Seth standing close behind me, his icy gaze holding a hint of reproach and disbelief.
What?
I looked at him, a small head full of big question marks. My brain, usually crammed with work and strategy, short-circuited. I blurted out, "Mr. Anderson, Ms. Bennett, my date has arrived. I should go into dinner." The subtext was clear. You two can now enjoy your lovely evening. But Seth's expression only darkened further. After a moment's thought, I added very considerately, "Mr. Anderson, Ms. Bennett, I won't keep you. Enjoy your meal." My tone was the picture of sincerity. With that, I turned quickly. I couldn't help the smile that tugged at my lips.
Phew.
My face was already alight with the pleasant surprise of the handsome man and the roses. As I turned, I vaguely sensed Seth take a step toward me, his large, well-defined hand moving as if to catch my wrist. Me, huh? I was puzzled for a second. But the next moment, my wrist was caught, not by Seth, but by Gavin Barrett, who gently pulled me into the private room he'd reserved. 15. For years, on slow afternoons, I'd often come here. I'd review files and materials in this very booth, glancing out the window when tired. But this room was different now. It, too, was filled with carefully arranged pink roses. Clearly, Gavin had prepared this in advance. Because of the mysterious ender's strange persistence, I'd always told people my least favorite flowers were pink roses. I never expected. I was taken aback. Looking up slightly, I realized that from this window you could see not just Gavin's place next door, but the moment the door closed, Gavin immediately released my wrist. The atmosphere instantly grew charged, intimate. Do men generally prefer women who are relatively reserved, easily flustered? Before I could summon my usual poised act, Gavin looked at me, his fingers, still gripping the cart, tinged pink. He seemed uneasy. "Ivy, I didn't mean to." Maybe it was the pink lighting, the overwhelming roses, or the shy puppy look he had. Almost instantly, I smiled, took a step closer, and said deliberately, "Didn't mean to what, exactly?" Gavin seemed startled by my sudden forwardness, reflexively stepping back. Then, as if remembering himself, his young face flushed crimson. He stammered, nearly at a loss. "I didn't mean to grab your hand like that." 26 and still this bashful? With his looks, it shouldn't be this way. I raised an eyebrow. I took another step forward, looking up at him. Oh. This time, Gavin didn't retreat. Instead, he met my gaze, licked his lips, and said, "Ivy, it was an impulse."